Hello, hello. Well. We will be starting in a few minutes, in like 3 minutes, just to give the time to everyone to come, because we said 25 and it's only 22. But I'm really glad that you could make it. This is awesome. Finally getting to meet after all this time. And yeah, thank you for your time, your availability, and also the topic that you're going to be presenting is just, I was amazed like the first time you told me about this, and I couldn't believe like the kind of festival that you already set up. It was completely, yeah, it blew my mind. So how are you doing?
Yeah, surviving 200,000 cases yesterday in India and living through it. Tough times indeed, but yeah, safe with the family. Everything's fine here, and just working on stuff, working from home. Uh, a lot of my friends are COVID positive, so just praying for them. Everything's going to be fine, and yeah.
All right. Okay.
That,
Okay.
yeah.
Very nice. All right. Um, I guess even if it's like in 2 minutes, I guess we can start, to be honest. Yeah, so please introduce yourself, tell us what you do and what is your job, etc., etc.
Yeah. People ask me what do I do. I always tell them I'm a rock and roll guy. I've uh, started working at a really early age. I started as a DJ when I was at the age of 17. Used to play in a rock and a metal bar, and I was a big fan of the music. So I tried playing the drums, and then I realized I sucked. So I said, okay, look, we have to do something, and got into playing music. And then I started organizing smaller shows in my city, Bangalore, and well, I started managing a couple of bands and started making contacts. And then I started managing a band called Cryptos. We were the first Indian heavy metal band to do a cross country tour of Europe. And it was in 2009. I was, I guess, 19 years old then. And it was, going to Europe with a band and going on tour was the Wild West for us. And we played, I think, around 7 festivals, 3 club gigs, and it so happened that the Wacken Festival was also around the same time, and we all went to Wacken. I was flabbergasted to see 85,000 people all in black, and I was like, okay, where have I landed? This is the place to be. And those 3 days at Wacken, I just went crazy, and I said, okay, look, there have been a lot of music festivals in India, but there's not been a dedicated festival for rock and heavy metal music. So I went and met the promoters at Wacken, and there was, very kind enough to say that they would help me in building the festival. So came back to India, and I started the festival, and I called it Bangalore Open Air. After Wacken Open Air, called it Bangalore Open Air, and started that in 2011. Um, Lost a lot of money in the initial years because no one knew who we were as a festival. Brands didn't want to support us because we were new to the market. We were still building a brand, and this is what I'm going to talk about today: is how would brands come on board to support you in your event. So the first 4 years we couldn't raise sponsorship, but after the fifth year, when we started realizing that, look, we've been around for so long, and brands started trusting that, okay, these guys are there, they know what they're doing, and that's when we started raising sponsorship. So we started raising sponsorship after the fifth year, and it started growing year after year. And today we are here. We're the only Indian rock and metal festival to have existed for the last 10 years, and who've been successfully doing it every year from the last 10 years. And that's what we've been doing, and that's how we started. So that's a small introduction about myself. I'm really happy to be here, share knowledge, share my experiences, and also share whatever I've done so that you guys don't make any mistakes in this journey.
Awesome, awesome. Well, yeah, if you can also share your screen now, if you want to start
Yeah.
your presentation, that could be good.
Yeah. So before I share my screen, what we're going to talk about today is how do you generally make a presentation to reach a brand or reach a sponsor? Before even doing a presentation, we got to first understand why do companies want to sponsor. So there are three important reasons why companies want to sponsor. Is one, because they would want to market themselves. Two is because they have the right target audience, and three is sometimes to boost their CSR. Now, when I say CSR, it's called corporate social responsibility, where every company has a responsibility toward at the year where they need to sponsor an event or whatever it might be. So before we get into making how a presentation needs to look, first of all, you got to understand who your potential sponsors are. You got to make a list of all the brands who you think would match your event or who would suit your event. One of the most important factors you also got to see with the brand is that who is your right target audience? Is the brand going to have your right target audience? You also have to figure out if the brand has also sponsored similar kind of events before, and you also have to figure out if uh, what are they going to get at the end of the day with sponsoring. The third most important thing what you got to do before approaching a brand is make a good elevator pitch. So what I mean by an elevator pitch is when you call a brand, so there are two types of there are two types of calls we say. One is a cold call and one is a hot call. A hot call is usually with a brand who knows you, who's aware of you. A cold call is a brand who does not know who you are in the market. So here, what you do when you have do a cold call is the moment you call a brand, let's say I'm calling JB. He's the brand manager for, let's say, Jägermeister. He doesn't know who I am. So the first thing I'm going to call him and tell him is, hey, JB, I just have 30 seconds. So the you got to win JB's heart in those 30 seconds to convince him to see your presentation. So the first thing you do when you call him is and tell him that, look, my name is Salman. I'm calling from Bangalore Open Air. Bangalore Open Air is India's, or whichever country you are in, is the biggest rock and heavy metal festival, which has been around from the last 10 years. We have a youth-centric target audience, which we think your brand would be interested in partnering. So if he thinks, okay, this is something genuine, he would say, okay, why don't you send me an email or why don't we meet? So the moment he says that, you have already won half your battle. If you screw up on your elevator pitch, it usually becomes a bit difficult. So you got to win the brands by talking to them in the first 30 seconds and making sure that they are convinced about what you want to talk to them next. So once you're done with the elevator pitch, now JB says, okay, Salman, let's catch up. Why don't you come down to my office on 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 Saturday at 2 p.m. So you got to be there. Make sure you're there half an hour before, and then carry your presentation and make sure you always carry a backup charger for your laptop. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to talk about how you generally make a presentation. So here we are. So the most important thing is the first image of your presentation. So we are going to, JB is, assuming JB is the brand manager for Jägermeister, we come to him and tell him, look, this is how it's going to look. Jägermeister, Bangalore Open Air. We got to be open and we got to be really powerful with the brand. We got to integrate the brand with the music festival. The first slide says the nation's rock and heavy metal capital established in 2012. Jägermeister Bangalore Open Air, powered by Wacken. So first we got to tell the brand, look, what is Wacken Open Air? Now, I'm sure all of you guys in Europe or in Germany know what Wacken is. Wacken is the biggest heavy metal festival in the world. It was founded in 1990. Almost all styles of rock and heavy metal bands have performed there. And we are one of the only music festivals to be supported by Wacken Open Air. Then you got to come down to what Bangalore Open Air is. Bangalore Open Air is powered by Wacken. It was established In 2012, Salman used to say that's me, he's the founder of the festival. I was inspired by how big Wakan was, and I came back to India to organize a festival on the same lines. Then we got to give them a brief, information about how and what bands have played. Here you can see that you have posters of the festival from the last 9 years. At the bottom, you can also see that the fans of the festival have grown over time. From 700 fans to over 4,600 fans have attended from the last 8 years. The most important part is to always make your presentation look visually good. You got to add in photographs which show how big the festival is, which show that that this is what your festival is. Then we talk about what the festival is in a nutshell. 9th anniversary was scheduled to happen on the 10th. Unfortunately, it didn't happen because of the pandemic. It has a global fan base. We were also featured on quite a few really good websites. I'm sure you guys know Lonely Planet. We were the top 10 festivals in India, which were featured on the Lonely Planet. Then we talk about what the nucleus of the festival is, which is really important. This is what makes the festival. The festival is stylish, it is exciting, it is motivating, it is loud. The festival is international, and also we talk about freedom at the festival. Our fans are right choice. What we talk over here is what is the kind of fans which attend the festival. Here you can see that there are 70% male and 30% female. What is the age group of the fans who attend the festival? 95% have been college graduates. 30%, 95% have been college graduates. You guys can see there's something called CTC. So that's nothing but cost to company. That's basically what salary our fans are getting. These are important factors, because this comes, you get to know what is the spending power of the fan at the festival. What is the DNA of a fan? The DNA of a fan has been multiple times. So the festival loves the festival experience and uses social network to promote the festival. 80% of the fans have been from India, 20% have been international fans. These were basically data taken from our ticket sales. So this gives an idea about how popular the festival is throughout the country or throughout the market. This is a really important thing for a sponsor. This data has been taken from 7,500 fans who attend the festival. It basically talks about how your brand is visible at the festival. So 95% of them think that brand has been noticeable. 80% think it is vital. 87% think it's non-distracting. 72% of them think it's enriching, and 79% think it's image boosting. These are basically our social channels. We got to tell them how many visitors come onto your website, how many people following you on Facebook. When you do a live stream on Facebook Live, how many viewers do you get? There's another beautiful image taken at night at the festival. So you got to keep adding these beautiful images so that the brand or the client does not get bored of what I'm talking. You got to keep encouraging them to keep going through with these beautiful images. Then we have beautiful press clippings about what the festival is. We've had a lot of local media which has spoken about what Bangalore Open Air is, which is really important for brands because they would want to know how popular the music festival is. International media talking about the festival. We've had Metal Hammer, Deutsche Welle, Dhaka Tribune, Rolling Stone, and quite a few of them who've spoken about the festival. The cool part about the festival is that it also brings together people from different lifestyles. So here you can see Walter J. Linder, who's the German ambassador to India, who also tweeted about being at the festival. You can also see Ms. Ritwa, who is the Finnish ambassador to India, saying, I would love to be there because there's a Finnish band playing at the festival. So what's the plan for 2021 Bangalore Open Air? What's in store? More headbangers, more hungry eyeballs rocking out together, jam-packed audience, rock and metal in our blood, and giving into the mosh pit. So here we are talking about Jägermeister interacting with the stag with rockers worldwide. So we live in a country that hosts over 50 million rock fanatics, and here we are to please you. So we came up with a concept called Save the Night, manifesting Jägermeister's music. We provide an opportunity to 50 plus billion consumers to engage with. So when you come and meet a brand like Jägermeister, you're not just talking to them about one event. You got to talk to them about what you're going to do apart from just the festival, because they are more interested in knowing what you're going to do before the event or after the event today. And no one today has the money, or no one today has the time to just say, okay, go ahead, just put my logo and I'm fine. So you got to give them a detailed plan. You got to tell them these are the things I'm going to do on ground. These are the things I'm going to do online. So here you can see we have bifurcated this into two, on ground and online. What we're going to do on ground is the festival. We're going to do multiple pub gigs. We are going to do something called the Walk and Metal Battle, and then we're going to do something called the Rock Awards. Online, we're going to do a lot of talk shows, online gigs, influencer campaigns, and a documentary film. So here we come and tell you what our plan is to do something on ground. Here you can see that we've branded the festival with Jägermeister. We got to, tell them, look, this is how the branding is. 2021 is the edition. It's going to be the 10th year of the edition. We're expecting 5,000 plus people. We're going to have 6 international bands. It's going to be 8 hours of entertainment, and it's going to be the annual pilgrimage for all rock fans into India. What are we going to do with the brand? These are the kinds of interactions which we are going to do. We are going to have branding on the wristband. We're going to have a display zone. Here is something cool which I want to talk to you about. Okay, so there is something called Artist Meet and Greet Zone, and last year we had a sponsor called Parker. Now Parker are, it's a brand, it's a pen brand. It's a world famous brand which are used for manufacturing pens. So I met them last year, and you must be wondering what a pen brand is doing at the festival. So I met one of the brand managers and told them, look, we have a lot of international bands playing at our festival. We want our fans to meet the bands. Not many of them get an opportunity to do that. So we want to give an opportunity to our fans to meet the band. So we decided, okay, let's make an artist meet and greet zone where the fan uses a Parker pen to get an autograph from their favorite band. So that was a big sell, and they said, okay, we love the idea. Go ahead and take the money and let's do this. So we're going to have branding at the entrance, branding at the engagement zones, product sampling, and all of this stuff. So finally, you got to tell them, look, this is what you're going to get. We want you on as a title sponsor, and this is how your stage is going to look with all your branding. This is also what we plan to propose. We're going to have an airborne bar, and this is how it's going to look. We're going to have a lounge, and this is how the lounge is going to look as well. A customized view of how your bar is going to look at the festival, giving them a detailed look and feel of how the bar is going to look. So we've come up, we kind of, also have to figure out that how do you increase the sale of Jägermeister before the event. So we came up with this whole idea. If someone who buys a cold pack, before the event, they get a VIP access to the Ice Rockers station, which we plan to have at the festival. So anyone who buys a cold pack of Jägermeister gets an opportunity to be at the VIP access at the festival. And this is going to be the Ice Cold Rocker station, which is going to be at the festival. This is another cool displayed Jägermeister truck. We're also going to tell the sponsor that, look, how will the people remember the brand even after the event? So we tell them, look, we're going to have your brand on our festival t-shirt as well. The other things what we propose to the brand is that you're not just sponsoring the event in India. We do the walk in metal battle in India, Nepal, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. So this is an opportunity for you to not just be part of the event in India, but also be at the event in Nepal, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka as well. So we also propose to have, for the first time, something called the metal awards, where we have the top Indian bands to be a part of it. So we propose them also to have the awards as well. So BOA pub gigs are basically a pre-run to the festival. We do smaller events throughout the country in various clubs where we're going to have BOA pub gigs with the brand, which is going to be a build-up to the main event. So we all spoke about what we're going to do on ground, and I think we are in the middle of a pandemic, and the brand, we believe that the brand needs visualization online as well. So we've come up with a plan to talk to them about what we could do online. So we've been doing online shows with online talk shows with various musicians from all across the country. So we're going to have online uh, Zoom call conferences with other people as well. So we also propose to have online gigs, with famous Indian bands. So we came up with this concept called After Dark Society for our bands, where we get influencers to talk about the brand. Then we also propose to have a documentary film which has never been made before, and come up with co-branding with Jägermeister and try to get OTT platforms like Amazon or Netflix would be interested in releasing something like this. So what's more important is giving them a plan of action for the complete year, starting from October till towards the year end. You got to talk about what's going to happen every month, your online, and when you're going to do on ground. So this is basically a calendar which you can see here, which talks about online shows and on ground shows. This is something really important. It tells you what is the event reach, number of you're expecting how many people to attend the event. What is the event reach? How many impressions are going to you're going to see. This is very important because if a brand is going to invest X amount, they would need a return on investment. Let's say, for example, they invest around 100 euros as sponsorship. They would expect a value of at least 250 euros in return. Either it could be through kind or it could be through visual marketing. So this is basically a breakdown of what is the amount of return on investment they would get. Then we talk about different sponsorship labs. Presenting sponsor at 150,000 euros, powered by 50,000 euros, associate by 30, co-sponsor at around 10. And you also give them breakdowns on, if you just sponsor, let's say Bangalore Open Air Festival and Rock and Metal Awards, this is your sponsorship amount. Option 2, multi-city pub gigs. Option 4, all digital gigs, or option 5, just rock and metal documentary film. This is how you're going to place them. Here you can see Jägermeister being right on top. It's basically nothing but your title sponsor. On all communications, it would be called Jägermeister Bangalore Open Air. So these have been our esteemed partners from 2012. We've had a lot of brands who've been a part of it. A lot of international brands. You can see Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Monster Energy, G-Shock, Casio, who are all really international brands who've been a part of the festival. We've grown the festival from zero sponsorship to covering at least 70% of the event through sponsorship, and it's one of the greatest achievements we've done as a festival, keeping in mind that the audience for rock and heavy metal in India is niche, and we've been successful to raise sponsorship of at least 200,000 euros over the period of last 4 years. So this is just a general presentation about how and what you would need to do as as a sponsor, and I guess I've run through it. And if you guys have any questions which you would like to ask, I would be very happy to answer them.
Yes, thank you so much for your presentation. There's actually one question, but it's regarding more of the music industry in India. Someone is actually interested about how the music industry in India is like in terms of copyright, for example, music law system at festivals, etc., etc. Can you maybe explain that?
Yeah, so well, as you must be knowing that India is a Bollywood-centric market. The ecosystem for music in India is still really at its early stage. We don't have, of course, there are copyright laws, but not as strict as how it's in Germany or any other European country. It's still a market where there's a lot of piracy around. People break rules, but there is no proper ecosystem for copyright laws in India yet.
All right. Okay. So we have yeah, I was kind of interested about this about your opinion about how COVID, of course, is affecting this business, and what were your thoughts on how things are going to turn out next year, realistically
Yeah,
speaking.
so I thought this year is going to be much better, but unfortunately, like I told you before we started talking, that we've had around 200,000 cases yesterday on a single day in India, and it looks like 2021 is going to go down the drain as well. So it's going to be a bit challenging. It's going to be a bit difficult. Uh, However, to keep the company alive, we came out with merchandising. We're doing something called Rock and Roll Originals. It's official licensed merchandising of international bands, where we license out merchandise and sell it here in India. So we're trying different sources of revenue for the company as well. Considering the fact that I don't see or foresee any live entertainment happening to it even this year.
And have you planned out of maybe doing of course live concerts, and do you have like necessary equipment for that, stuff like that?
I didn't get you.
Oh, have you planned out of doing any online concerts?
Yeah, so I personally don't believe in online concerts because I think it's boring. I would rather you know, watch YouTube with popcorn, but we have to go with what the trend is. We have to go with what the current scenario is. If there is a demand to do online concerts, we're really open to do it. But even to do online concerts, you require a lot of money. So we need to figure out if sponsors are ready to invest into doing something online. So at the moment, I don't see any brand right now who's spending money. So it's a catch-22 situation. So you know we just don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So at the moment, I think everything's on a standstill. We would love to do a lot of online stuff, but it's a bit challenging there as well.
Nice. I have one question. What's up? Nice to meet you, by the
Hey,
way.
how's it going?
So I mean, like, so what are you guys thinking for like next year? Because I think that it's very difficult to plan things right now. So I guess for like 2022, like, what are you guys? So I'm sure you guys are thinking about all these things pretty far ahead of time. Planning all this. So what are your plans for 2022?
Yeah, so we've all, our festival was cancelled 15 days before the lockdown. So we've had around 1,500 people who had already bought tickets, and we still have people have still held on to the tickets. They said, okay, whenever you're going to do the festival, we want to come back. There's been a big support with the fans. They said, okay, you guys have been doing it from the last 9 years. We believe you that you're going to do it again. So we have to do it. We've been also talking to bands, but the really unfortunate situation is that even bands are not sure about when they're going to tour. We don't really know about when they could get their visas. What are the rules, new rules for visas? Do you need to be vaccinated to come here, or do you need to have a COVID negative certificate to travel? So there are a lot of factors which come into playing, and we just have to be patient to figure out what is the next big option.
And it's super, it's like super like, I mean, super cool you guys had that many people hold on to your tickets. Like honestly,
Yeah,
like this is a lot about your fan base. Like people are really committed. I mean,
yeah.
I
So
I'll
what's
go. I'm
important
excited.
is, yeah. So what's most important is that I always tell people that there are four important things to keep in mind when you do your festival. One is always make sure that your brands are happy. Two, always make sure that your bands are happy, because when your bands are happy, they go back and talk to other bands and tell them, look, you got to come to you got to go to India and play, because that's a really nice place to play in. Three, you got to keep your press happy. You got to make sure that they write good about you. And four is it all comes down to your fans. If you don't keep your fans happy, they're not going to come and buy your ticket. So these are the four important things which you've got to keep in mind when you plan your festival.
Right. We have another question from Anonymous who says, who do you choose? How do you choose your sponsors?
Yeah. So how do we choose a sponsor? Like I said, there are a lot of factors which you got to look into choosing a sponsor. One is you got to figure out if they are already marketing outside. You got to figure out if they are, if they are your right fit. You can't go to a sponsor or a brand who you think does not fit your festival. I can't go to like a Victoria's Secret and ask them, would you be interested in sponsoring me? So I a better brand would be, okay, a brand which would suit heavy metal, which would fit into the subject. And you also have to figure out that if the brand has the spending power. Certain brands come to you and tell you that, okay, look, we will give you beer for X amount of marketing, but if you need money, you got to always you got to always say no. Sometimes brands ask you more than what you can give. At the end of the day, you got to realize that it is your festival, it is your baby, and you're not, you can't just go out of the way and sell yourself out.
All right. Well, I have a question regarding performances of bands. So let's say you're a European band and you want to perform in your festival. How does it come along with all the PROs, for example?
Yeah, it's very simple. We approach bands who are usually available. Um, we start planning this almost a year in advance. We figure out if it's okay for the band to tour this side of the world during this particular time. We also plan it in such a way that we have a promoters union where I know guys in Singapore, I know guys in Thailand, I know guys in UAE. So if a band wants to tour, it makes it more easier when we tell them, we offer them like 5 shows where they land in Dubai, play a show there, then come to India, then play in Thailand, then play in Singapore. So we give a band a package, so it makes it easier for the band as well. And then comes your visas, and then comes your flight tickets and all of that stuff.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll still have time for 1 or 2 questions. So if anyone wishes to speak up.
Guess there are no other questions. Don't want to make our good speaker waiting. But sorry, are there any other questions before we close this presentation off? I'm going to take that as a no. I love it. So I guess
yeah, I think everyone got my presentation, and I think everyone's going to do a festival and raise sponsorship, so which is pretty cool.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. I mean, the presentation was so crisp, absolutely legendary, beautiful. I mean, I can't wait to go to this festival.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Well, I think we're done here. I mean, we made it through. Well, thank you so much for your participation, of course. And for those of you who have been missing all those conferences, they will be available over the BIMM website. And now this is time to say goodbye to Marina.
All right, guys. All right, so thank you guys, everybody, for coming to the first BIMM Student Conference. Clap, 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 snap, 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 all the good vibes. after hanging this up, the team and I, everybody's going to be over at the Zoom hangout room. No, Zoom Wonder Me hangout room. Sorry. So head over there and hop over there for some networking and some good conversation. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Yeah, the link will be in the description. There you go. So if you
Real
want to jump, just hop on.
All
right,
right.
guys.
See you, Marina. See you, JB. Nice talking.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. And I guess we'll be heading over to the Wonder Me room. Thank you guys, everybody, again, so much for attending. And as mentioned, if any conferences are missed, they're all been recorded, so they'll be up on BIMM's page, hopefully very soon. But yeah, if there's no other further questions from everyone else, like I said, hop over to the Wonder Me room. Let's do some conversation, do some networking. If you have any questions about any speakers or anything like that, feel free to hop over there and get in touch. And thank you guys. JP's on call. All right, guys. So thank you. I think that's everything. Thank you guys again for coming.